Welcome. We are live with the Beagle Cam. As you can see, it's over my shoulder there, and it is printing on the Artillery Genius. I'll get you a little bit closer look at that setup shortly, but for now, we're going to get rid of my mug and explore some of the options for using this to print from mobile. So let's go ahead and hide that face there. There we go. And let's take a look around the interface. Now, obviously, I have my screen in portrait mode because I wanted to showcase some of the things you're able to do from your phone. But it does go into landscape mode, and you can get a nice clear picture that way. So this is set up on my local area network here, and you can get into it from your browser via IP, or you can get into it from your mobile. And it works really well on the phone. The video is a lot less choppy. The browser works okay. I think it needs a little bit of work buffering the video, but video on the phone is amazing, and that's really what I wanted this for. So let's take a look at some of the options we have here for things that we can do with our Beagle Cam while we are working remotely with our 3D printer. So as you can see, we have a temperature chart here. This is listing a graph of the temperature over time, and you can see the hot end is at 230 and the bed is at 60. I can go in and change that, set it, raise it a few degrees, lower it a few degrees, or I can turn it off entirely from here. I can also go, if I'm not in the middle of a print, and I have these handy homing keys, and I can move each axis as well as the extruder, the fan, and the stepper. So all this is pretty basic for any interface you'd find with a 3D printer, but usually you're going to be doing this from your PC or from a browser. This is the first one I've found that works so well from your actual phone. You'll notice every time a layer completes on this print, this is Deadpool by Eastman. Every time a layer completes, it's going to push the bed forward just like that. And it's going to take a picture because it's also building a time lapse. This camera has amazing visuals. You can switch between standard and high definition, and it is a super clear picture, as you can tell. So really pleased with this so far. I have hooked it up to my Ender 3, my Ender 3 V2, and my Artillery Genius, all with no problems. And yeah, probably going to get a couple more of these because you can hook multiple devices up in the app, and then you can monitor your printers over your network from anywhere very conveniently in the house without any problems. I actually was checking on my printer from downtown earlier, which was pretty cool. I haven't been able to do that before without having a laptop with me or something. So there is also a files list. You can upload files to this files list, or you can erase them from it. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff, but this is what we're printing right now. This a rather large size file at 90,991 kilobytes there. That is the Deadpool bust. It is pretty good size, and all of this is going through the Beagle Cam. So it's got a TF card in it. These files are on the TF card, and it is running that G code into the printer via a USB cable. The USB cable is provided, and it is a standard USB, not a USB-C. So if you need a different port, you'll have to get that cord yourself. I happen to have a bunch of basic printer cords laying around, and that's what hooks into the Genius here. So it's working really well. Don't seem to be losing any details or mucking anything up too bad. I don't think I adjusted, because this is a direct drive machine, I don't think I adjusted the retraction right. I think I may have sliced this for an Ender, which is not a direct drive and actually needs longer retraction. So I think that's why I'm getting a little bit of stringing. Luckily, it's all in the back, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll be able to just wipe it off, and this is wood filament, so it's really easy to sand smooth as well. Here we have a list of other time-lapse videos that I've already made. I can download them to my phone. I'm not going to fill it up with these time-lapses because I already have them on my computer, and you can see them in some of my videos elsewhere as well. So then you can go and hit the settings. Right here you can see my camera name, or my printer name, excuse me. It's listed under the camera, and then the brand, printer model, the size, and the baud rate. Now, it's important to pay attention to the baud rate. If you do get a Beagle Cam and you're having problems connecting to your printer, that is the first place you want to go. You want to make sure you have the right baud rate. This is not the same one that the Ender 3 runs on, and that one runs on a different one than the Ender 3 V2. That's all determined by the board in the actual 3D printer. So Let's go back and take a look at some of the other options. We have a pause and a stop option. That's cool. We have some information here is how high the fan is, what layer we are, how many total layers there are, how far into the file we are, and how much of a file there is entirely. Space so we can get a good gauge of what's left. But there's also this handy percentage meter here, which pretty much tells us, you know, this is where you're at. This is when this is going to be done. Oh, I play this game on my phone, and I'm about to have an alarm go off because I'm about to launch an attack. So you might see me drop out of my printer for a minute and go into a game app on the phone, but I'll be back. It'll just be a second. All these attacks have to be timed precisely from different places, so I set alarms and yeah, kind of silly, but it's a fun game. I've been playing it for like 15 years now. What's good, Cody Todd? I just turned the chat on. I wasn't seeing it a minute ago, so sorry about that, but I'm seeing it now. What do you think of Deadpool? I think he's looking pretty sick. This is a rather large model, too. It's not super huge, but this is the first time I've printed it full size. I've done several of them tiny. I'm very excited to see this time lapse. It's definitely the biggest one I've done. I didn't realize that it was going to end up taller than the camera's view, so I had to reset the camera to move it up a little bit halfway through, which is not ideal for the time lapse because you'll see it jump. But next time I'll set it further back. The mount for this thing is pretty interesting because it has screw holes in the bottom. It's a round base, and then the camera itself swivels and tilts in there. So it has a very wide range of movement, and I think a lot of options for how you can mount it. So I think we're going to knock out a couple of designs for different bases because the base that it sits on is not very high up. Right now I have it sitting on the box, but I think that there should be a way that we can get a nice stand for it that basically relies on the 3D printer to hold it up and gives us different angles with the camera. So it should be pretty cool. You'll have to stick around for that, of course. If you're just joining us and it's your first time here, make sure that you reduce the Z offset on that subscribe button and give that notification bell a good first layer squish. That way you can get notified when we post new videos. This little live isn't going to be going too much longer here. I do have some other videos that I need to get finished, and I should have one up shortly today. So if you're interested in that, it will be here before too long. We will obviously definitely come back and take a look at the Deadpool and the finished time lapse. And then all of this is going to be in our final Beagle video where we actually review the camera. But so far, things are so good. I've got no complaints. Pretty happy with the system. And yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call the stream here instead of making you watch me play a game because we are going to be cutting it short soon anyway. But thanks for stopping by. It was a quick one. And if you want to see how Deadpool comes out, you're going to have to subscribe. Thanks, guys. Technivorous out.